for Powerhouse Incorporated, and we are super excited that you're here today. We have a wonderful presentation. As you all know, it's about prescription drugs use, and we are, I'm sure you're all aware, we have an opioid crisis, so we're super excited to be here to learn what we can do for our youth and how we can prevent, educate, and raise awareness.
So yeah, just real quick, a little bit about what Tabitha and I do. So our focus as regional prevention providers is to provide education and awareness on substance use prevention. So we do a lot of work in the school system. So we go and speak to adolescents, teenagers, younger kids, wherever we're asked. We speak in libraries. We do community awareness events. So we are very active in the counties that we serve. So if anyone is interested in talking to us a little bit more about what we do, feel free to stay after, and we can exchange information and cards and see how we can help you and your community. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is just little. Okay, if it goes on, keeps going on, it is not me. It's technology. So this is a little overview of what it's going to look like today. We already did the introductions, as you noticed. It did not take us 2 minutes. So I would not be surprised if we finish early. So I'm sure no one will complain about that. We're going to do our presentation, and then on the It's Your Turn, we are going to have an activity where yes, you do have to get involved. Who loves sports? Yeah, Jonathan and I do. Fun for us. So we're going to do a role play activity. You are going to get a scene, a situation where you are confronted with potential teen abusing substances, and you're going to figure out what you would actually say in that situation. I promise you, it's not as hard or as scary as it seems. Those of you that are adventurous enough will ask a few groups to come up and kind of role play in front of the audience to see, maybe get some more ideas on how we can talk to an adolescent. That might be in even a crisis situation. And then we do have a wrap up and an evaluation that we hope all of you guys will help us and complete and turn in at the end of the session today. So our goals for today are we're going to learn about prescription drug abuse really briefly. Hopefully we can dispel some common myths when it comes to abusing prescription drugs. We really want to empower you as a teen influencer, as a role model. Teen influencer is really just a fancy name for a person who plays a role in an adolescent's life. So that might look different for each person. You might be the parent, you might be the grandparent, you might be the teacher or the coach, or you might be all of the above. So each of us in this room have some type of role that we play. We hope to provide you with communication tips on how to talk with the teen, and then hopefully at the end of today, you will be empowered to spread the message to other people who aren't in the room. That's our goal. All right, so real quick, what is prescription drug abuse? So it kind of goes into 2 different categories. There's self-medication, and then there's recreational use or misuse. Those are kind of combined. So self-medication, using a drug for its intended purpose, but their name's not on the prescription. So maybe they're taking an anxiety medication to treat their anxiety, but it's their friend's anxiety medication. So that is prescription drug abuse. Or recreational use. They're using it for the intent to get high or for some other type of effect. It's really important to realize that prescription drugs do play a valid role in our society. Probably if I were to ask you guys to raise your hands, which I'm not going to, most of us would raise our hand if we're on some type of prescription drug, right? If we take it at the right time, in the right way, in the right person who's supposed to be taking it, then they do play a good role in our society. So we're not here to say all prescription drugs are bad, just when they're misused.
I just take about this slide. In particular, we realize that this is national statistics. It's also a little outdated in 2009. So what we get to you all in your yellow bag, you have So that's my county data. This is pulled from the EPI book. You can actually get this online at the bottom. EPI, outcome work group. You can actually look at, if you're not from Tabasco County, you're able to look at all counties in Arkansas. You can actually have a lot more data than just this. We really wanted to give you this as one point we wanted to point out. And if you look at youth prescription drug use, we're at 3.9%, and that's actually above state average of 3%. So that's actually almost 1 full percent. It may not sound like a lot, but the way when we do our yearly plan for what we're going to do for our community, and we're making our logic model, and we say we're going to reduce prescription drug use in Sebastian County by 2%. That's a pretty large margin when you think about 2%. So when we look at statistics, kind of just a little bit, well, we would have been 100%. Well, that's not feasible. That's not ideal. We're going to be great in a perfect world. So 1% higher than the state average is pretty scary. Does anyone know the amount of people that die every day from drug overdose? From an opioid-related drug overdose? What is the average? 6. This is a national statistic. Was 134 people. 134 people a day die from drug overdose. And it may not sound like a lot when you think about our nation, how big it is, but if it's your brother, sister, mom, aunt, friend, then it's a huge number. Arkansas, we have more opioid deaths than what we reported, unfortunately. And so we just really want to hope empower our community to step out and say, hey, drug use is not a moral deficiency. It is an epidemic, it's a problem, it's a disease, and we're here to help, especially our young people.
So one thing that, like the last bullet point that I really want to point out is a lot of times when Catherine and I are going into the schools, we ask students, what do you think about prescription drug abuse? Do you think it's safe? Do you think it's safer than abusing street drugs? And sometimes we have students that are like, yeah, of course it's safer, because they think in their minds it comes from a doctor, or my mom uses it, or I'm not having to go to the side of the corner on the street and get it from a drug dealer. But what we look to do when we talk to students is try to dispel some of those things. So here are just some general dangers of abusing prescription drugs. Now this is by no means a comprehensive list. We could be here all night, and it's going to depend on what classification the prescription drug is, of course. But one thing that teens especially tend to do when they are abusing prescription drugs is they mix them with alcohol. So those of you guys that know your classification of like drugs, what would alcohol be classified as? I guess. So we got, yes, depressant. It's classified as a depressant. So let's say that they are abusing Xanax and then they wash it down with some alcohol. Now they have 2 depressants in their bodies, and that heightens the risk of them potentially overdose. And then if any of you guys know teenagers, someone wants to teen yourself, right? Always. You do know that teens are prone to risk-taking behavior, and that can look different, right, from teen to teen. Not all teens are engaging in risky behaviors like abusing prescription drugs. Some might be driving their car too fast or engaging in other risky behaviors. But since they are kind of in that time in their life, they're at a heightened risk again for engaging in some of these things, especially if they don't have the information or the education on what abusing prescription drugs could do to the body. Sometimes experimentation, especially with substances, is kind of seen as a rite of passage. That's something that Kevin and I have to battle with a lot. We're not talking about underage drinking today, but underage drinking is a lot of times seen as a rite of passage. So the same thing goes with prescription drugs. Have any of you guys ever heard of farming or bowling parties? You? Does anyone want to take a guess of what that is? Like a farm party or a bowling party? So not a farm party like with FARM, a farm party with a PH. to get into the party, you bring whatever medication you can find in the cabinet, you dump it all in a bowl. A lot of times it's mixed up with Skittles or something else, and you take a handful and you wash it down. A lot of times it's alcohol. And these do happen in our county. We've asked students, have you ever heard of these? Do you know someone who's been to one? And they'll say, yeah, we know exactly what it is. We'll say, well, what is it? We'll have them explain, and they explain exactly what it is. So you might not think it's happening, but it is. So Tabitha's holding up a great illustration.
Yeah, and so he showed us a lot to especially our elementary students. One, we have this was a candy with some of their medicine, but if you're at a farming party, a viewing party, and this happens here in one of the several of the ones that we go to, we ask students, and they're like, yes, we have one of those Saturday night, or whatever it is, the parents not home. And that is the number one place when the parents not home for every drinking candy. So, it'd be just like this though. One is candy, one is medicine. So you got a bowl full of candy of medicine, and when you think about that, if you get allergic to the medicine, what is it going to do to the body? I mean, is it a blood pressure medication? Is it for diabetes? Is it a prescription drug like a narcotic? And these youth are putting in the bowl with absolutely no concern about what happens. Because when we talk about, the impulse control and the lack of awareness, sometimes, even with suicide, they don't really truly understand that that's an end, that there's not another choice after that. So it's sort of scary. This is kind of our elementary thing. Just to let you all know, all means on top of all medicine on the body. Not actually mixed up, and then one's never. But if you were to look so close, you'd be able to tell. So,
yeah, and another thing to point out about like a farming party or bowling party, a teenager might not know that that's at the party, but when they get there, they might not be equipped with the ability to just say no. So that used to be a campaign, just say no. Some of you guys might remember that. That wasn't effective, just saying no. So when we go into the schools, we do a lot of role playing with them to empower them and give them the skills, these skills to figure out different ways to get out of an uncomfortable situation. And that can be used in so many different varieties of situations. So why are teens abusing? A few different reasons. Sometimes it's just simply because it's easy to get. I bet I could ask you guys to think about, like, in your home now or in your home when you were younger, where did your parents keep their medicine? Bathroom, kitchen cabinet, on top of maybe on top of the fridge. But those places are still easily accessible. So what we like to do, especially when we talk to adults, is we bring something as simple as this medicine lockbox, and you can get these at Walmart, and they are under $10. And yes, if you are on a lot of prescription medication, it's not going to fit everything, but you can put some medications in here, so like prescription narcotics or benzos or something like that. You can keep them locked up. Obviously, if someone really wants to get into this, they could just steal it, right? But then guess what? You're going to know that someone got your medication. Probably most of you that were nodding your head and saying, yeah, I do take some type of prescription, you probably don't know how many's in the bottle right now, do you? Unless you sit there and count them all out. You just expect to have the correct amount. So it would be really easy for someone to take the top off and just take one. You would never know. That's why we highly suggest investing in something like this.
Another option is for prescription drugs and narcotics. Would be timer cap. So what you do is put your medication into this bottle, and it actually times it for you. There's a couple of good reasons. One, it's not somebody got your medication. Two, if you forget, did I take my medicine or did I not? This will count down for you. So you open it, and when you put it back on, you start counting down the minutes. Count it up. So you look at it, I took my medicine 2 hours and 5 minutes ago. So if you didn't get into your pill bottle, there's another way of counting it. And teens are a lot less likely, not to say don't fill your whole bottle, but they're a lot less likely, especially if you're still in the sneaky phase of addiction, and they're trying not to let anybody know. They're going to just fill a couple of pills if you don't notice, rather than just filling the whole bottle. So there's a website.
It's called Timer Cap. You can just Google Timer Cap, and a website will pop up. You can purchase them off there, but we are able to give them out to the community. That's part of our mission as regional prevention providers to get things like this out to the community and out into people's hands.
And today, what you will be coming home.
Yes.
But our plan did not exactly work. We're just gonna throw it out there. Who sat in front of a heart? Me.
You did.
We were trying to get everyone to the front first, and everybody gravitates to the back, and they get to the front when they have to most of the time. So if you sit in front of a heart, we'll give you either a lockbox or a timer tap. If you want one, you can go. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
And we have a few others too, so just to let you know, we love participation.
Participators.
Might be some prizes.
So, other reasons on why teens are abusing prescription drugs, a lot of times they're looking for some type of help. We mentioned before, I think it's on some kind of timer, that is not me. We mentioned before that sometimes people are self-medicating, and that goes for teens as well. They're looking to alleviate some type of symptom that they're feeling, and they know that this prescription works for mom or dad or brother and sister, so they're looking to take it to get that same effect. And the getting high aspect is not as big as a motivator as with like street drugs. So just getting high is not really that. For some it is, but for most it's not. Most of them are looking for that desired effect. So taking some type of stimulant to keep them up in a way to engage, to study longer, or to go to all of the different activities that they are expected to complete, as well as other prescriptions. So accessibility, you get to. So accessibility, we talked a little bit about how most homes have some type of medication in the home. A lot of those homes, they're easily accessible. They're not locked up. They're not put in a place that would be hard to get to. And sometimes the parents just aren't educated themselves. They just aren't aware of the danger. And if they aren't aware of the dangers, they can't take the steps to mitigate those dangers. And then, of course, hopefully by the end of this day, this third bullet point will no longer be applicable to you guys. Not knowing how to talk effectively to a teenager about prescription drugs and about the dangers. We know in prevention that, it's moved again. I don't know why it does that. We know that in prevention that the more you talk to an adolescent to the youth about the dangers of drugs and alcohol, the less likely they are to engage in those activities.
There were two campaigns our fans have taught out. Mom, they hear you. There's never not a good time to talk about drugs. From this big and up. And there's always an appropriate way to talk about it. I want to give you a lockbox to you for saying by yourself and so close to the heart. So inevitably, other factors driving drug use. Teens oftentimes believe that taking prescription drugs is safer than illicit street drugs. So we like to show a slide that has all the different side effects of prescription drug medication to our students when we're in school, because the list goes on and on and on, right? We've all seen the commercials that always end with what? Impossible death. So we need to always remember to talk to young people about they're not safe because it's prescribed by a doctor. They have a lot of side effects. They are addictive. So who knows how long it takes the body to become addicted or to prescription drugs, specifically opioids. Anyone want to guess? 3 days, yes. So your body can start to become dependent on an opioid in as little as 3 days, which means most people, when they go to the doctor, unfortunately, they may be prescribed 2 weeks, 30 days, etc. So it does not mean the person's going to become addicted and they're going to start purchasing the prescription drugs on the street. It just means that your body is naturally going to become dependent on an opioid. There's no way of getting around that. So when a person gets prescribed 5 days, 7 days, 8 days, it's so important for them to be aware of potential side effects and the dangers of becoming addicted and to be under the care of a doctor. Something we always tell the youth is if you're taking your friend's medication, the doctor's not going to be aware if you're taking your friend's medication. If you have a seizure, the doctor's not going to know why. The people are not going to know why. That's why it's so important to get into care of the doctor. And unfortunately, most teens believe that it's okay to share these drugs. Prescription drugs all around us, teens notice. Most people leave the doctor's office with a prescription drug in hand. I do know for a fact that Arkansas is going gung-ho, trying to change the laws and the prescribing rates, etc. So I think that we're on top of that. It's just going to take some time. We're on a huge mountain right now of overprescribing in Sebastian County, in Arkansas as a whole. And so it's going to take some time to go down this side of the mountain, I believe. But we will get there. And this is moving again. This is too much information on the slide. If you want this, we can send it to you later. But this just kind of shows you the different types of drugs and what's the most popular prescription drugs and where they come. So these are common drugs of choice for abuse. Excuse me. I don't do well. I have to have my brews, and I've not found it yet. So, so strong pain relievers. We got over here the common ones: Vicodin, Oxy, Percocet, Lorcet. Most of the time when we talk to the teens about prescription drugs, the most common ones we hear about are the Lortab, Lorcet, and Valium and Xanax. The stimulants, young people like to abuse the stimulant medication. A lot of students take stimulant medication, students that are Adderall, Focalin, Vyvanse, etc. Sedatives, Valium, Xanax, Ativan, Klonopin, and they don't realize oftentimes what this does to the health of the body. So what are some physical warning signs of addiction? Somebody tell me a few. Let's go back to that. I know, yes.
I think
Okay, their mood changes. Well, what are some physical signs? What? Irritable, dilate, constrict, tired all the time. Okay. Yeah. So shaking, drowsy, loss of consciousness, addiction, physical dependence. So there's a big difference in dependence and addiction, right? We all know the difference in dependence and addiction. Shake your head. No? Okay. So dependence is like I was talking about before, in 3 to 5 days, and you start having maybe some withdrawals when you stop taking your medication suddenly, like nausea, vomiting, maybe some constipation, particularly from opioids. Addiction is when it rolls over and people use despite negative consequences. They know they do not need to be using the Oxy, the Roxy, the Lortab. They don't, most of the time, they don't want to be using those pain pills. But their body has gone from dependent to addicted, psychologically, physically, craving, they get sick. Has anyone ever seen someone that's been addicted to pain pills and they're coming off of them? It's sad. Their body, people describe it. We worked in our office treatment center for years, and so when we have people come in and they're coming down off of the opioids, they describe it as a severe case of flu. They hurt. But a lot of times that leads to people leaving and to relapsing. So if you are around a teenager and you have empowered that person to be honest with you, and they start to go into detox, encourage them, love them, support them, and assure them that it does end. And one thing that I'd love to say is you never have to feel this way again unless you choose to, once you make it over that hump. So some behavioral signs, somebody said that all of a sudden their mood changes, right? Mood changes, irritability, losing interest, poor performance at school. So you got to know your young person, right? You have your young person, they love volleyball, they love going to school, they like talking to people in the hallway, they take care of their personal hygiene. All of a sudden they start coming to school and they can't stand going to school. They look down all the time. their personal hygiene just really took a turn for the worse, dropped out of volleyball, that's when the time is to ask the question. Sometimes people are scared to ask the question because you got to what? You got to do something, right? If you ask the question, what if they say yes? So then what do I do, right? What do I do if the person says yes? I'm sorry? It is. There. You're right. You're so right. Yes, there are definitely barriers and obstacles to overcome. But if you want to help that person, you got to be willing to face those barriers. And the insurance thing, that part is the worst. But fortunately, most of the time, 17 and under, they probably have some type of insurance. Whether it's private insurance with their parents or if it's our kids A, our kids B, and our kids does pay for treatment. So remember that. It's not as bad as an adult getting into treatment. We can oftentimes, and we don't have one here in Fort Smith anymore, but where was it that we just learned? Little Rock have a youth treatment center, We do. So I think Little Rock is the closest, but that's still just 2.5 hours away. So remember, if you want to help that person, you're going to have to face those barriers and those challenges. And it is a struggle, though. It is. You're absolutely right. Number 2 bullet, or the second bullet point, really, really important. All of a sudden, their circle of friends completely changes. It's normal for adolescents to start developing different friendships, but their entire circle changes. The way they dress, the way they act, the way they talk, where they're going, and they become secretive, even more secretive with their phone. Huge warning signs, right? So here is our, who can make a difference? Everyone. Everyone can make a difference. Everyone. I like this first. So many teens report their parents have the greatest influence on their drug use attitudes and decisions. Katie already mentioned that you're over 50% less likely to try drugs if your parents talk to you about drugs and alcohol. Oftentimes we forget about alcohol, but alcohol is a drug, and if we talk about it to them early, we can influence their decision making when they get older. My son, who's in 6th grade, is going to 7th grade. I'm already talking to him about when he goes to Darby and that kid asks him to vape in the bathroom. Already doing it. I've been doing it since the beginning of school year this year. When you go to Darby next year and that young person asks you to take a Xanax or football, what are you going to do? Well, no one's going to ask you that. Yes, they are. They will. At some point in your junior high career, someone's going to ask you, So just kind of talking and reiterating. And one thing I'm doing with my son is he's 13, and I'm letting him know to just be honest with me, and you're not going to get into trouble if you just come to me and talk to me. And I'm honest with him. If I find out, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. If you lie to me, you're going to get in more trouble. But just kind of empowering him to let him know that, hey, just come to mom and tell me. I'd much rather you tell me. Even if you do it, I'd rather you tell me, and then we can talk about a solution, what we're going to do different next time. Because you're going to try to. He's in an emotionally disturbed class. He's never been in a classroom setting with more than 7 students, ever, in his whole school career. So when he goes to Darby next year, it's going to be a big change, So just kind of empowering the young people to say, what are you going to do? Educators, we had several different teachers in here and health coaches. So coaches and health teachers, you guys see the kids more than we do during the day, right? You'll have a big impact on the students. Obviously, it's rushing me on through. Okay, healthcare providers. If you're a healthcare provider, ask the question. Tell them the side effects. Tell them the potential dangers. How many of you have been to the doctor, the dentist, and they say, take these blood tests, go get these pills, it'll help you with your pain. But has anyone ever told you everything? And by the way, you can become addicted and lose everything you own. And by the way, you might become dependent and throw up later in 5 days. If your body is addicted to it, dependent on it. Really, but unfortunately, people don't know to ask those questions. And that's another thing, we try to adults to try to educate. When you go to the doctor, ask questions. Stand in front of the door. No, I'm just kidding. Don't let them leave the questions. So talking to teens work. I love this little slide right here. Teen drug use, perceived risk. We want to increase the perceived risk. Unfortunately, our young people today look at drug use as not a big deal. The higher grade level, when you look at your APNA data, we have a couple books in the back. The question that asked about you get awarded for peer awards for antisocial behavior goes higher and higher. In other words, if you do wrong, your friends think you're cool. You know, so we got to change that.
Can I say something about the APNA real quick? Those APNA books that are back there, those of you that are not familiar what that is, it's the Arkansas Prevention Needs Assessment, and that is a survey that goes out to students across Arkansas and of course our region. And they take this survey every school year, 6th, 8th, 10th, and 12th grade students do. It is an optional survey, so not all schools participate, but most of the schools here in our area do participate. And it asks tons of questions about drugs and alcohol use, as well as pro-social interactions and risky behaviors and things going on in the home, and a lot of really great data. And that is completely free for everyone to go view. So you can look at statewide data, and then you can look at county by county data. And if you are interested in finding that information, you can Google Arkansas Prevention Needs Assessment, and it will pop up. So, and the new school year data is going to be coming out in April, March or April. So we are looking forward to seeing that. And you can see a 4 or 5 year span, and you can see how rates will either drop or increase. So it's really neat.
And if you're in the school district, you just have to go to your principal and ask to see your school. So like Katie and I can see Sebastian County as a whole, but we can't look at Southside data. We can't look at Ramsey data. We can't look at Northside data. Only the principal and the superintendent have that information. So if you are in a school and you're interested in what your students are reporting, just go speak to the counselor, speak to the principal about how do you if they'll let you look at it, which I would. It's Arkansas Prevention Needs Assessment, APNA for short, APNA. And our Fort Smith School District does participate. So talking to teens, we'll do brief screening in the hall, conversation in the hall, in the car, in the field, just talking in general to them. Empathize with them. So acknowledge their fears, acknowledge their stressors. You know, sometimes as adults, we may look at like, how could you be stressed out? You know, all your bills are paid, et cetera, et cetera. But the reality is their stress is their stress. And nowadays, the social media and everything else they got going on, and the pressures from the schools and the testing and et cetera, you know, they are under a lot of stress. And so we just really need to acknowledge that and to validate that and empower them. And it's okay, you know, to feel this way. And then they're less likely, if you acknowledge their anxiety, acknowledge their stress, they're less likely to go find a beer or a prescription drug to reduce that anxiety, because that's what happens. That's the trick of the disease. Is they're stressed out, they're anxious, or maybe they don't fit in, they go to the party, they drink the beer and take the pill, and all of a sudden they're relaxed, and they fit in, and they're not worried about the test the next day. And then they didn't get in trouble, they didn't get caught, so the next weekend they do it again, and it's just all of a sudden they're doing it despite their own will.
No, I was just going to say that last point, find out what are some healthy coping skills, and not healthy coping skills that we like, but what do they like? What are some things that you can get them involved in? What are maybe there are some great peer groups that they can go to, really engage outside of themselves. Because that's kind of where it's at. You know, if you can get them outside of themselves, doing something else with someone else, they can, a lot of times, can empower them.
I love that you normalize the behavior. So we tell the students, if you think everyone is doing it, it's because you're hanging around. You know, not everyone in a class of 500 is taking oxy or hydro or drinking beer. You know, so that's just your friend that you're hanging out with. Not everyone. Most teens choose not to use. That is not my slogan. Most teens choose not to use. You know, so debunk the common myth. You know, prescription drugs is just dangerous. One thing I say a lot now is, you know, 134 people die a day not from methamphetamine, not from cocaine, but from opioids. Not, so I kind of like instill that in them. If you're a parent, be mindful of how you talk about your medicine in front of teens. So if you do take your medication in front of a teen, tell them what it's for, tell them the potential dangers that it can do to their body. If you're even on an antidepressant, it's not a dose for their bodies, like explain to them that they could get sick, if you do take your medicine in front of them. And then, of course, we want to talk to teens about drug use. So we want to give them an escape route. We always, we like to say, blame your parent. I said, blame me, but my kids, blame your mom. Tell them I'll go psycho. You'll lose everything you own. You'll be grounded for the rest of your life. Just have a plan. We'll take a buddy with you. Take somebody with you that has the same goals in life and chooses not to use drugs and alcohol. Yeah.
I think that I use a lot of this. Most parents don't buy that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, they're basically fun a shot. Just I'm at the house. Like your kids say no, even my mom might try that.
Yeah. Just put it on the kitchen window. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Where do you buy direct that doesn't matter?
I buy them at the dollar.
I would let that be their excuse to their friends. Yeah. Is there kind of a black parent that
Pull that out. I like that. I'm gonna have a vapor tester in my house next year. Oh, absolutely.
So there's a great tool for you guys that you can use called In Plain Sight or Hidden in Plain Sight, and they do have, it's really neat, they have an online kids room that you can click through and see different things that you might not realize are drug paraphernalia or possibly signs that it's using any type of drug. So it's really cool, and that's online.
So one takeaway from this slide is teach them how to get out of a bad situation. Because they're nervous, they're scared, they're pressured. So teach them how do we get out of a bad situation? They know as well. So challenge to reaching teens. Of course, we're rebellious, right? You have rebellious teenagers in your life. They want to experience life and new things. Oftentimes, if this is a normal part of growing up, is the questioning authority. And I don't mean it in a negative, bad way, but just wondering why. Why is this a law? Why do I need to do this way? Do things this way? And that's typical behavior. So you just kind of want to acknowledge that and just be aware and know that's coming. Peer pressure, they're easily, they're very impressionable at this age. Either to the left or to the right. They're going to be swayed. So I'd like to tell my personal kids, be a leader, not a follower. Try it and be a leader, not a follower. Of course, all that competition for attention, smartphone, social networking. So it's your turn. So who's going to volunteer?
So I think, let me do a real quick count. Okay, if you guys can get into like three to a group, 3 or 4 to a group, no, 3 or 4 to a group, and we will give you guys some seeds. But before you do, real quick, we're going to give you a seed, and what you're going to do is you're going to discuss with what are the actual words you would say to that teen in that situation. So don't say, I would say, blah, 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 blah. We want you to talk it out, like an actual, yes, let's do it.
Let's do a real quick, that way you kind of know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So your piece of paper also gives you the role that you play. So mine says parent. Your teen comes home after school and doesn't know you're there. talking casually with your friends about prescription drugs. Hey, I happen to do something about opioids.
Well, blah, blah, blah.
Anyway, and I just got randomly thought of that, so, role playing is not my forte. So, so what would you actually say? Don't look at us like, well, if it was my team, I would say, we have to really common names in here where we're going to go rock. So people do it like, yeah. I don't know if I'd say opioids. So I just saw that.
All right, you guys ready? All right. Woohoo! Yeah. So, we have a group that has graciously volunteered. I may have asked them. So they are going to read us off their scenario and then give us what they decided to come up for their role play as.
You're the best role player.
All right, so they're going to come up to the front undivided. Okay, parent/teacher. Near the end of the term, your child is very anxious about obtaining final exams and papers, not to mention other schools and family pressures. This whole that you recently one of the first place, sometimes takes medication to stay awake and concentrate. No, someone so cute. Good, guys, so much. Thank you very much. All right, so would maybe one other group like to come and discuss what you decided you would say to that team? Uh-oh, I'm gonna have to start picking people out of the crowd. Oh, okay, yay, we got volunteers! All right, this is the theme from pediatrician or family doctor and patient. So your 15-year-old patient asks you about getting a prescription for a stimulant that can help him perform better in school. He says that he has tried his brother's ADHD medication a few times and it has really made a difference in how much he is able to get things done. Based on your history with this patient, you know that he does not have ADHD or any other condition that might make this drug medically necessary. The brother has a necessary medical condition, but this drug is actually very bad for both. Your brother will have to take breaks during the summer and breaks to slow down our body because it's not breaking. Is that right? There's natural healthy ways to drink more water, go to bed at night, and that is a healthy way that's not going to have a lifelong effect. Good job! So I want to point out one great thing that they did is they gave other coping skills. Like that is key. Other coping skills. So there are other healthy ways to boost your energy. So good job. Y'all are great. Y'all can see I wasn't too scary. And I'm gonna be like the other side. Yeah. I can't help myself. One thing that I would recommend not doing, especially if someone's sibling or relative is on a medication, is not saying how bad that is. Because that might be what that person takes away. I mean, they make a great point from it's constructive. Because, like, for instance, if I said, well, your brother, he takes it just for medical reasons, and if you take it really bad on the body, then you're kind of putting that off on the brother. So, like, one way to say it might be, if your body doesn't need it, it can hurt your body. Because your brother's body, he needs it, instead of making it look bad and then lifelong effects. And that he could go home and tell little brother that, and little brother scared his medicine, and mom has to fight him, and whoo, I don't know if I've ever been there, but that's not fun. So that's just one little suggestion. Not to say something that's bad. Unfortunately, that word resonates with us.
Great tool for that is talk about devices the way. So when they want to read
I like that.
screw their eyeballs up.
I like that. Right. It'll affect them different. Yes. Yeah, and that's a good way to put it. Excellent. Great job. It's hard to get in front of your peers and talk. Good job, y'all. Yeah. All right, so we have this. What do you want to do? Well, there's a few other things. Oh, and we are going to come up with some great ways. All right. I'm going to try to let y'all go.
So it's important for you guys to know some ways to help. One great thing, especially I love that Arkansas does this, is that we really promote monitor, secure, and dispose. So dispose medications properly, monitor them in a great way, and safely store them. Yeah. So we in Arkansas are kind of leaders in the nation. I really like it. We have 2 drug take-back days every single year in April and in October. Last Saturday, each April and each October, and those are across the state, and that's where you take any unused or unwanted medication in there to dispose of properly. So you never, ever want to flush them down the toilet. That gets into our water sources. Yes, in your bag, everybody has one of these nifty little packages, and it makes your drugs inactive to where no one can get them out of the trash can and still use them, and it's also not going to get into the water system and potentially pollute them. Because you might have heard of in the past, mixing them with kitty litter, mixing them with coffee grounds, but if you have ever been around someone who's truly addicted to a substance, they will go through the trash. They will go through that kitty litter to get it. So it's important to do this safely. And another great thing, if you can't get out on those 2 days, those 2 set-aside days, most of our cities have permanent prescription drug drop boxes. So Fort Smith, we are super blessed because we have 2 in Fort Smith alone. We also have one in Barling, and then et cetera, et cetera. We have a ton. You can go to the artakeback.org website, find the closest one near you. And that's where you can take medication almost 24/7.
It depends on Barling, drop box. We were, blessed enough to be able to purchase my drop box months ago. And theirs is actually outside of the station, so you don't have to wait for them to open. Fort Smith, their drop box is inside the first set of doors, and the sheriff's department is inside the first set of doors. And I do want to let you know, some of you may not know, the state drug director, Frank Lane, he kind of steered that whole program back in his police chief days. So it's kind of really Walgreens. Walgreens, a lot of pharmacies are now Walgreens. Like, yeah, we've got.
Oh, well, they like them.
On, I was like. Were you?
I'm a pharmacist in my other job in Carter County. So like whenever their healthcare provider, I started telling them, they're so short-term. And once I tell them they don't actually have to, and they're taking out the rest, when you're done with it, sure where the things like exact locations are and, what they're going to want. So the sheriff's department is one.
A lot of, and a lot of times they just simply don't know where they're at. So, that's part of our job, making an ongoing difference is educating people.
And the good thing about prescription drugs and opioid pain relievers, it usually says PRN or as does not mean you have to send it to like you take them until you don't need them anymore. It's not an antibiotic. I don't know if it's now. Not sign in, if not sign in, I'll bring the sign. Does anyone else need a sign-in sheet? Yeah, when we do a report, we report in the graphic, you can make sure we're talking to everyone.